Okay, Salo 37 here. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. Okay, let's go ahead and dive right into our subject, which is going to be on a lot of my videos about black women, good black women. Is there such thing? Okay, now, like I said, just to remind everybody that I'm not talking about, we're talking about a small percentage of black women, okay, that first of all are traditional, okay. Most of us, the women that I'm referring to, most of us have been taught, by our family, by role models in our homes as children at a very young age that it is absolutely essential for us to assume the role one day as a mother, as a wife, as a contributing person to the family. Okay, so this small percentage of women understand by the time they become adults, and let's say by the time they absolutely mature, because sometimes we have it grounded in us, but we don't become in tune with it until sometime, between the ages of 23 and 27. Okay, so we understand that no matter what we decide to do in life professionally, okay, and we're gonna talk about that next, we have a traditional value system. Now that doesn't mean, to women that are more on the feminine side that, we're always gonna cook and clean and wear aprons and sit around. No. What that means is that, hey, family is first. Family is first for me. I want family first in my life, in my family. Okay? So that's gonna distinguish a stereotypical professional black woman and the women I'm talking about, okay? Because most of these women that are in this category, and you will see a large percentage of them have a father and mother growing up. But you may see them be raised by grandparents or, nuclear family or just by a mother or just by father, okay? But for the most part, they will have two parents, okay? Because we understand the importance of a black man in the house, okay? And we understand what his roles are. For example, my father, you know, my father was there fixing the car, okay? He was there to, his role was to protect us. Okay, so having, three daughters only and no black men, he knew that he had to be home every night. Okay, so we understood, okay, this is what a black man does. He's home, he's a provider, he supports his family financially. We don't have any problems with having food on the table. So we automatically go into a situation respecting black men because that's what's been modeled for us in our house. But on the other side, my mother made sure that the food was always on the table, that we knew how to cook, that we knew how to keep a nice house. So, at a very young age, we were doing chores, okay, contributing. We also knew how to work together. My mother and father worked together on things. When my dad finished his, master's degree, got his bachelor's degree, they worked together to make sure that he could get to where he needed to be. My mom wrote his papers or helped type his papers, stayed up all night. Our mother and father also put us in an academic setting at a very young age. My parents did not go to school until after we were born because they understood that they had to, sacrifice family first and then go back to school. So my dad, before he went to school, he worked 16 years in a factory. But he didn't work hours that sacrificed family time. He was home by 4 p.m. Okay. My mom was home. Okay. So we weren't raising ourselves. So I understand that, okay, when I have kids, I need to be home. Home is first. Okay. Now, whatever things I want to do after that, if I did it backwards and I had kids first, which these women I'm talking about don't have kids. Okay. And I'll explain that in one of my other segments. Okay. We don't have any kids and we understand the traditional value system. We understand how the family functions. We understand how to give and take. We understand that, hey, sometimes I've got to hold it down. I've got to support my man. I've got to, pack. I heard one guy talk about black women not packing lunches. I got to pack my man a lunch. When my dad was getting up early in the morning, my mom was up. Breakfast, always ready for him. Dinner, always ready for him. That's not being submissive. That's just supporting your man. So we understand that going into it. Okay. So we have a lot of those characteristics. All right. Number three, the way that we were raised, we were instilled. Okay. Even though we have a traditional family system, we were instilled to be um, self-worthy, um, uh, high esteemed black women that had a future. Okay. Because, you know, no matter the circumstances, even if you're married, and something, happens to your husband, unfortunately, which would be a horrible thing. We understand that, hey, I might have to fall back on my degree. Or if my husband loses his job, I might have to fall back on my degree. Or when I enter into a relationship, I want to be able to contribute to that. Okay. I look at the division of that as 100 divided by 100. Not 50 divided by 50, 100 divided by 100. Okay. I'm going to give 100% whatever I can give in a relationship. I want you to give 100%, you know. So we understand that, we need to educate ourselves beyond high school. Okay. So we're not talking about high school dropouts. We're not talking about, we're going over to the, more of the ghetto type of stereotypical black women. Okay. So we learn how to, you know, that we have to educate ourselves at a very young age. So there comes college. Most of us have college degrees. I mean, we do. We have college degrees, um, but we also have that unique, you know, um, we have that unique ingredient of also being, a humble black woman, or we understand the importance of family. Okay. Now I'm going to talk in another video about the dynamics of college and what happens, okay? Because I think that this has some overlap with a lot of what the black men are talking about with college women, and the problem, okay? And thugs and the wrong guys. We're going to talk about that. But I'm describing what a black woman in this category, a good black woman, is, okay? So we are going to be professional, okay? We may be nurses, we might be lawyers, doctors. Um, Most of the time between the ages of 23 and 27, we're students, okay? Or we're just graduating. Okay, so we might, we're going to probably have a master's degree. We're probably going to have, a professional degree. Okay, or a license certificate. Okay. Another thing, class. Um, we Most of us understand that class is very important. At a young age or as we mature. That's the way we've been groomed. That's the way we've been raised. Okay, so we're not going to have, once again to the ghetto spectrum, we're not going to have the nails. We're not going to have, a lot of, fake hair weave extensions. If we do it, it'll be nice. It'll be conservative. Okay, we dress conservative. Um, and this is more so post college because, like I said, it takes some time for us to mature and for us to be ready. And we'll talk about why it takes time for us to be ready. But it takes time for us to get our stuff together. So, we might have had some influences in the past where we dressed a certain way and then we realize, okay, that is not the way to dress. I don't know what I was doing. And we get our stuff together. So we're going to, for the most part, be dressed well. Some of us, like I said, might be led astray when we come back. Um, we're going to not be loud in public. We're not going to even exhibit an attitude because there's nothing really to hate. There's no reason to hate or be upset with anybody. So we're not going to have an automatic attitude when you meet us. We're not going to have an automatic attitude when there's an argument. We're not going to have an automatic attitude when we get into a relationship. So this, like I said, the stereotypical attitudes that black women have, I've never had a black man, and I've, dated quite a few, say, oh, you have an attitude. Even at the worst time in our relationship, most of the time with us, what we do is because we understand that we're highly regarded, we walk away from the situation. We don't argue. We don't nag. Now, these terms can be a bit ambiguous because what is nagging, so maybe we'll have a video about that. But for the most part, we're not nagging. Where are you going? Why are you leaving me? We're confident in ourselves. So we don't have to nag. We don't have to bother somebody. Okay, so basically, family values, professional black women, we know how to carry ourselves with class. I'm running out of time, so maybe I'll make a part two. We don't nag. or bothersome or angry or an attitude. Okay, check me out.